right, everybody. We've got another very special guest, a returning special guest. All right, please welcome back to the show, Josh Nealis. Welcome, Josh.
How's it going? I appreciate being called special twice right off the bat.
Yeah, there you go. Special, ultimate guest. It is your second time, so we don't have to do the annoying part of your origin story, but I do appreciate you taking the time on Super Bowl Sunday to record with us.
Oh, absolutely.
The national holiday. Well, as
It is.
Chris has got to go get to his Eagles celebration soon.
I think when we booked this, I had him at like 3 or 4 o'clock. And I emailed him back like a day later, going, "Dude, it's a Super Bowl, so there's no fucking way we're doing that."
Yeah. I think we went back and forth because I think that was before the playoffs even started, and
Yeah.
I'm a Packers shareholder and you're an Eagles fan, so we both were like, you don't know what's gonna happen. So
Right. Yeah, you're like, it's up in the air right now.
yeah, that was hard for me because when I have books out and stuff, that's when I kind of make my rounds and stuff, and people were like, "Hey, how about this day? Saturdays and Sundays." I was like, "I don't know when the Packers are gonna play." So
Well,
I might
I
be
was
booked.
I was thinking about it, and this is coming out after, so everybody's like real interested in this
Yeah, for
past
sure.
conversation. But as we're talking, MegaCon's going on. I was supposed to be there this year.
oh, nice.
And I kind of lucked out because I didn't think of that ahead of time either. Because there's no fucking way I'd be at MegaCon today.
Yeah,
Yep.
no way. Yeah, and we got hit with a ton of snow last night in this area, so it would have been terrible to get out there.
Maybe you did.
Oh, we did, yeah.
Well, you guys are not in the same place then?
No, we're both in like
No.
opposite sides of New York.
Okay.
There's this weird thing in New York where like there's this like slash that goes through, and I end up right in the middle where I don't get that much snow, but then like Buffalo does and Albany does.
Hmm.
And Mike's more towards one of those two.
Towards
we'll
Albany,
say.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're not gonna put your address right on here?
Yeah. It's displayed on my Twitter account for anybody that wants to leave me free comics on my doorstep.
There you go.
Well, thanks for coming back. I think
sure.
we might have done something okay if you're back this time. Back with an amazing title of a comic, probably one of the best titles of all time.
I appreciate that. Titles are important.
Cocaine Stripper Stronghold is the book we're talking about today. And I see it, it's on Kickstarter. Well, as this comes out, everybody will have about a week to
Yep.
back it. But can you give us the rundown on this this amazingly titled project?
Yeah. I mean, I created it, so yes, I
Yeah.
can give you the rundown.
Perfect.
I'm the guy to do that. So yeah, it started out as just a weird little dream. Like, you ever have one of those dreams? Like, you wake up and you look at your alarm, and then you're like, "Oh, I got 5 more minutes." So you fall back asleep, and you have like one of those fast dreams.
Yep.
That's what I had. And when my alarm started going off, I'm coming out of the dream tunnel, and somebody in my dream was just yelling that title at me. So I chuckled, and I put it in my notes in my phone. And then throughout the day, I was like, "That's a weird title." I was like, "It's a good title." So I kind of came up with the story of the novel. So the novel I wrote back in 22.
Oh, okay.
So it's been out for a few years, and it's super raunchy comedy where a horde of zombie businessmen and a biker gang attack a brothel because they like cocaine and strippers. That's what I decided to go with. And it's kind of in the vein of From Dusk Till Dawn and Mad Max, kind of.
Yep.
So it's kind of like a Western, too, which, like, I'm not even a Western fan necessarily, but I was like, this would work like that. But every 1 or 2 cons, like, I sell out of this book. So I was like,
Wow.
well, I can't just not do something with it. I can't just let it die with one novel. So I decided it would make a cool comic series. I wrote a 4-part series based off of the main character, whose name is Jane. She's like the head mistress of the brothel.
Okay.
So I was like, well, like, I don't know. Like I said, it's a silly book and stuff, but somehow I managed to do pretty good character development. And I liked her character, and I wanted to explore her more. So I was like, well, how did she get to this, like, badass boss bitch that she is?
Right.
So issue 1 is what's on Kickstarter now, and you can also get the novel. But it follows Jane, and it's kind of her origin story, and some of the other characters pop up as well, but she's the main character. And you find out in the first couple pages, which people can preview on the Kickstarter,
Yep.
that she's like kind of this like the zombie apocalypse has happened, and she was raised on a high rise, and it's like a self-sustaining building. So she's never been out in the world. So the zombies and everything have taken place, and she's just on her penthouse. But her parents have died, and her dad is the one that would always fix everything. And she doesn't really know how to fix everything. She isn't experienced going out and finding the things you would need to fix it. So she has no choice but to leave. And that's where her adventure starts. It's like, how is this girl who oddly has no idea how to survive in the zombie apocalypse, even though she's lived through it, how she survived. So that's what this prequel series covers.
And I want to talk about, so you have two different artists teaming up on the book, right? So you have Mike DiCarlo doing the cover and some interiors, or not all of them, right?
Yeah, he did. So did you guys read Last Ronin?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I read that, I really liked how Eastman did the flashback scenes. Like they were his art, and then they kind of went monochromatic with it. I wanted to do something like that. I thought it was interesting, and I thought it'd be something cool for myself and my team to do, to tell this story. So Mike, who, if people don't know, if you're a comic fan, you at least have heard the name.
Yeah, Mike DiCarlo. Yeah.
So he's pretty notable. He worked on Batman: Death in the Family, Booster Gold #1, first appearance of Lobo, which is a hot book right now. First appearance of He-Man. Those are just the ones that I know offhand.
Yeah.
I ran into him at a con a couple years ago. It was a little slow, so I walked over. I was just kind of talking to him, and I told him that idea for the flashback pages and stuff. And he's like, "That's a cool idea." He's like, gave me his card. He's like, "Hit me up, when you're ready to do it." So I did, and we traded a couple emails, which has happened to me before. I've traded emails with bigger name people before, but it just never comes to fruition, really. One day I'm at my day job and my phone rings and I look down. I'm like, Connecticut? Who's calling me from Connecticut? And I answer, and he's like, "Hey, it's Mike DiCarlo." And I'm like, "Hello." So we talked about it, and he pretty much told me, he's like, "I want you to know, like, this is a really cool idea. I really like it. I'd like to do it." And he's like, "I don't take every job because I don't have to do that anymore."
Yep.
So, it was having his seal
so
of approval
cool.
on this book. So he did the cover, and he knocked the cover out of the park. There's so much detail going on.
Oh yeah, it's
and then
it's
his
an
flashback
amazing
pages,
cover.
Yeah, his flashback pages are great too. We did the monochromatic; it came out great. So I'm super pumped for people to read this story. It's a fun story, and it's, like I said, it's got the seal of approval of a guy who's done it at the highest level.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he worked on, I think, at least the first 20 issues of Booster Gold, so some of those iconic covers from that run he did is so awesome to see. You could look at it and tell that it's his art. That's just, like, he does that much detail. It really made for an amazing cover with, like, the zombies, and it's just awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
I wish
everywhere.
I didn't keep, because I drew up, like, I have a little whiteboard that, I'll draw things, like, if I can't quite articulate it. I wish I would have saved what I drew up and showed him, because it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
He took that really crummy idea and just swung for the fences.
Wow.
So yeah, I was thrilled. Like that first message I got the pencils for it. I was like, dude, oh my God.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that.
You're like, this guy's been doing this for quite some time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. And then so you have also Cristiano Reyna on the book too, doing interiors.
Yeah, he's been on all of my comics. He's done all of the interiors except for these flashback pages. Okay. He's done most of the A covers and some of the variant covers. So, he's been with me since the beginning, back in 2015 when I started this whole thing. So he's
That's awesome.
And I was thinking about getting other artists to do it, but I work with him so well. I was just like, come on, buddy, let's do it. So
yeah, that's awesome. I want to talk about go ahead, Chris.
Real quick. So you guys finished up Turkey Sharks, which was like this comedic superhero book.
Yeah,
right? And you just like slipped over to him. It's like, okay, how about now? Cocaine strippers fighting zombies.
Yeah,
and he was just like, hell yeah.
He was. Yeah, I think he was excited to do something a little different too. So
yeah,
and I was too, because we all love superheroes. That's
right.
That's where comics started for a lot of people. And I plan on going back to that at some point. I have some more stories I want to tell with those characters. But it was time for me to do something different to show to people that I'm not just the superhero guy. I can do anything. I have
Yep.
novels
Yeah.
and stuff where I write everything. I've written romance, I've written horror. So I wanted to show that in comic form as well. And
Hmm.
this book is funny. I couldn't not make it funny because the novel is funny.
Yep.
But I wanted it to be something, a little different than just, punching and kicking and ha 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 and all that.
Right. And I want to talk about, I mean, the pledges or the backing pledge available rewards that you have for pledge tiers. I mean, all of it's really affordable. It's like, $6 for the base issue, $3 for the PDF, which is like,
Right.
that's awesome. And then even for the variants are like $10. You have the sketch covers, and then everything for the whole enchilada tier, which is the novel you have, all three covers that you have, $35. That's a really good deal, I think,
Right.
as far as content goes. So that's awesome that you're able to do that.
Yeah, I'm just of the opinion I would prefer people not to have to break the bank to get my stuff. My goal as an artist is to share my art. It's
Hmm.
not to make $1 million, even though absolutely, if somebody wanted to give me $1 million, perfect, let's do that.
That'd be great. Yeah,
But
let's all sign
I'd
up.
rather make $1 off a million people,
Hmm.
than
Mhm.
$500,000 off two people.
Right. Yep. Yeah, you build a fan base.
Right.
Yeah, and I see you got some quite a few backers right now, but you do have some stretch goals too. If you want to talk about those, about people that are
Yeah,
going to get
we're
involved.
almost to the first stretch goal. Last I checked, we were like 60 some dollars away from it. And I mean, it's a heck of a deal because you get 6 free digital comics by other indie creators.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I was talking to Tommy from World of War Comics. I don't know if you know him,
Mm.
and I didn't even put it together. But if somebody backed this Kickstarter at $3 for my digital book,
Hmm.
and then we hit that stretch goal, then you're getting 7 digital books for $3. And then if we
Yeah,
get to $1,000, I think that unlocks 2 more digital books, like the Turkey Sharks books. So
oh, that's
$3,
awesome.
if we get to $1,000, could get somebody like 9 books. I
Oh wow,
mean,
that's crazy.
that's a deal.
Yeah, yeah, that's
That's a
awesome.
hell of a deal.
People should buy that. Just even if they don't like comics, they're like, oh, it's a deal.
Yeah,
Even if you
$3.
like-
We could spend $3 on.
It's a
Come
deal
on.
at twice the price.
right.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it. I'll have to pledge for that. The Mike cover because I'm a huge Booster Gold fan. But go ahead, Chris.
I was gonna say I'd love to hear more. Like you said with the last series, and we talked about that when you were on before, how it was a comedic superhero story, and then this one has a lot of comedy in it as well. Is that something that you're really like leaning into and you're seeing a lot of success with? Because I noticed from our end, everybody wants to go super serious, super dark all the time, and while comedy and lightheartedness is making a comeback, you don't see it as much. So
Yeah. Yeah, I like dark stuff too, just like anybody else.
yeah,
And I write dark stuff from time to time. I mean, I have one of my short stories in one of my books is a serial killer stalking his prey and murdering her.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's not funny.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
I remember my grandma read that and she was like, "That's awful." Yes, it is.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I mean, I might do a serious comic book at some point, but
Hmm.
it's, I like to think that, I write comic books for comic fans of the traditional kind of comics, like the X-Men stuff from the 90s and yes, Batman got dark, but even some Batman 66 stuff, it's kind of silly and all that. Um, like when I write a comic, I'm thinking of those kinds of things. I'm not really thinking about like Sandman or Watchmen, even though I use some of those tricks in the
Right.
storytelling. Um, I want to read a comic and it be fun. I
Hmm.
think that's the thing, and that's why I write fun comics. So
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, Chris and I have this
colorful.
conversation all the time
Yeah,
that we
yeah,
need more fun in comics.
yeah. And Cristiano's style. I mean,
Hmm.
it would be hard. His style is so bright and colorful. It would be hard to write something like mopey and oh woe is me when it's like got like freaking yellow walls and
Yeah,
pink
right.
everywhere, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I'm super excited for the project. I think it looks like a lot of fun. Do you have a I don't know, I don't think you mentioned it, how many issues you think this would be
it's going to be
overall?
4.
Okay.
And then we'll see. I mean, if it's successful, maybe I'll pick up from where the novel ends. Maybe
Hmm.
not. I'm not saying Jane survives or not, but there's more. If it's successful, I'll find more story to tell.
Hmm.
I actually already have thought about like going back even further to Jane's dad, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows, you know.
So, to get to the zombie side of it, how are you treating? What is your zombie science for this universe? Because
That's
I know there's a lot of
yeah.
different versions.
Yeah, that's a good question. So in the novel, like I mentioned, it's zombie businessmen.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it would be interesting if zombies were to group together, like in their kind of like high school kind of like cliques.
Oh, okay.
So like
Interesting.
zombie businessmen all group together because they like
Yep.
cocaine and strippers. It's kind of there's like that part of their brain that's still in there that kind of wants them to be with their
Yeah.
own kind of
Mm-hmm.
people, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
So like in this first issue, you see like Rastafarian
Uh-huh.
zombies all together. You see
Yep.
like stoner like hacky sack playing zombies all
That's
together.
awesome.
Old people zombies. There's a joke in the book where if you're like the old people when they turn to zombies, they either go to the pharmacy or church. So
That's awesome.
yeah, and there's more genres as well. I don't want to give away
Yeah.
too much because I one of the issues I think it's issue 2. Man,
Mm-hmm.
there's it's gonna be. I can't wait to see what Cristiano draws.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, let's just say sports mascots.
Oh,
When we-
nice.
and we-
Oh yeah.
So
Now I gotta back it. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's
Uh,
I think that's issue 2. It might be 3, but I think it's 2.
That's an interesting approach. It's always hard to like change up
Right.
the zombie
Yeah.
style
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Mike, tell me if you agree with this, but I'm getting like really heavy Evil Dead kind of like
Yeah. Mhm.
undead vibes
Yeah,
from
or
the
like
zombies.
I mean from the cover, yeah, Evil Dead like
Well, if you go
well,
down to the page 2 with the old lady zombie,
yeah.
like I could see that. I could see fucking Bruce Campbell fighting
Yeah.
that lady.
Yeah. But
Oh,
the
I would say
yeah.
that's probably definitely an influence, even though
Yeah.
maybe I didn't think of that. Like Shaun of the Dead and Evil
Oh
Dead.
yeah,
And,
Shaun of the Dead for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. The
I
like
definitely thought of Shaun of the Dead a little bit.
the comedic zombie fighting. Yeah, because
Yeah.
like for Chris could too because he's a big Dausch. What is the dog you like, Chris? Dachshunds?
Oh, Dachshunds, yeah.
Dachshunds? Yeah. She's walking a little dog that's also a zombie, I think,
Oh,
too. That's amazing. Yeah, I think it looks like a lot of fun. And he does an amazing job with his art and his paneling too for fighting
yeah.
zombies. I think he did a great job.
Yeah, he's and I was excited to see that too because the choreography of things because he's Italian. You know,
Mhm.
sometimes he's thinking of things a little different from me.
Yep.
So it was interesting to see. And yeah, like I said, I wanted to jump in quick too, like with the
Mhm.
zombies. You know, you got page 1's the setup, page 2 she's fighting a zombie.
Yep.
You know, and she knocks out the old lady's eyeball,
Hmm.
and it's a joke I like because then the old lady's tapping around looking for her eyeball, thinking, and the reader I would imagine is like, oh, she's gonna put her eyeball back in, and no, she eats it. You know, so
Yep. That's always the question too. Is like the zombie doesn't know it's not its own flesh, right?
right.
Yeah. See, I like what you did with that because there are a lot of zombie tropes out there, and yeah,
Mhm.
that kind of changes it up. And now seeing the cricket bat too, because I think that's what that is, right? That's definitely
Yeah.
Shaun of the Dead
You know,
influence.
and Cristiano did that because I wrote a
Oh,
bat.
okay. Okay.
I wrote just a
Yep.
bat, thinking baseball bat, but he's
Yeah.
Italian, so he maybe thought cricket bat.
Cricket
So
bat. Oh, that's
when he did
hilarious.
it, I was like, yeah, Shaun of the Dead, we'll leave it. So
Yep. Yeah, I always forget that too. When you try to explain baseball to a European, it's
Yeah.
like they have no idea what we're talking
That's
about.
that's what's great about the collaborative process. Like,
Yeah,
you know, he
right.
thought of something
Yeah.
completely different, and
Yeah.
it just works so well in a way that we all understand, but
Right.
Yeah.
was
Right.
not intended.
yes,
Yeah.
sometimes that happens. You know, I wouldn't say so. At least 2 to 3 times a book, he'll draw something, and then I'll be like, "That's cool," but now I got to go to page 8 and change this line of dialogue because you know she has
Right.
pink socks instead of white socks or something. You know, so it's just
Yeah. Yeah. That's
it's
awesome.
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited for it. Before we wrap up today, is there anything else you want to say about the project before we take off?
Were you asking me or him?
Yeah, you, Josh.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Mike has agreed to work on 2, 3, and 4 as well. So if that's
Oh,
why
great.
you're here, you're going to get more of that. If you don't like Mike, at least like me enough to check out the project. um, you know, it's fun. If you like zombies, this is my take on it. The novel goes pretty hard in the paint,
Hmm.
so it's pretty raunchy. It's pretty out there. It's hard for me to say that I've written something original, because it's zombies. It's not going to be fully
Right.
original.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet there's not a zombie thing like that novel. I
That's
I'd bet
awesome.
$1,000 that you're not going to find something like this, because
Cool.
I went, like I said, I went pretty hard in the paint on making it really gross and
Nice.
ridiculous. And
Nice. Yeah, and
With,
like you said, you sell out of it all the time at cons. So
oh
yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
fast.
Yep.
With Mike working on it, can you confirm he's going to do the covers for every issue?
That is the plan, yes. So,
Nice.
I think
Nice.
issue 2 has some flashbacks. I don't think 3 and 4 have flashbacks, but I believe I'm intending to have him do the covers.
Great. Yeah. I think he does
Yeah.
amazing work.
I'm sure the book's great, but that's reason alone right there. You got
Yeah.
some awesome covers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have some amazing
You
covers
know what
for
they
sure.
say: judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, that's what
You
they
know,
say, right?
I tell people, when comic people are getting started and stuff, and that's one of the things I tell them. I was like, your covers have to be on fleek.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
that's what people see. Your
Right.
titles and your
Mm-hmm.
covers have to be awesome,
Yep.
because that's what people see first, and that's what they are judging it by. So,
Mm-hmm. For
Hundred
sure.
percent.
Yep. Awesome. Josh, thanks for being on the show again. And if our viewers, our listeners want to follow you, obviously we can send them to the Kickstarter, but where are you on social media you want to send people?
so Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube, and eBay if you like buying comic books that are Marvel and stuff.
Nice.
It's pretty much all Cutthroat Comics. You can type that in; it should pop up on all of them. I think only Instagram it's Cutthroat_Comics. I think the rest of them are all just Cutthroat Comics.
Okay, cool.
That's great. And to everybody out there watching or listening, you can check the show notes down below for the link to the Kickstarter page as well as some of Josh's social media handles. So make sure to go down there, click on those, and check him out. Josh, thanks so much for being on the show once again, man. And
Oh,
we look forward
yeah,
to the next time.
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you.
I fully appreciate it, and go Birds.
Go Birds.